Ooh, welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for you. I have on Zoom with me right now Michael Berryman, and he played Pluto in The Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm trying to get my lighting better. I'm doing really good.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're doing good, and I'm so glad we were able to set up this interview. So the first question I got for you is, how did you get your start into acting?
Oh, hang on, I'm working with the lighting.
No problem.
That's a good question. It was actually serendipitous. That's a long, a lot of letters for a word. It means I got lucky. I was getting ready to homestead in Alaska, and I had a little gift shop in Venice Beach, California.
Okay.
And the night we were going out of business in a couple of days. It was a little arty-farty, hippy-dippy, really cool little shop. We had plants and artwork and all the various things that the local artists would make. We put them on consignment. It was kind of neat.
Awesome.
And across the street was a very expensive antique store run by George Powell's daughter and his son-in-law. It was called the Gallimaufry. So we were friends in business with them. We knew them, and they said, "Hey, look, we're having an invitation only for a lot of millionaires and billionaires to come in the store, and they're going to buy. We have Ming Dynasty egg urns and all kinds of expensive antiquity and museum quality items." So I said, "That sounds really cool." They said, we could probably do better if we had your palms and your big plants in here to make it look more like a home as opposed to an antique store." And I go, "Oh yeah, we can do that." And they says, "And by the way, we'll buy everything you can put in our store." So yeah, we were pretty on board with that. So we did that. I invited some other friends, and we all dressed up very as more fantastically as we could possibly, adorn ourselves. And I was wearing regular, a nice shirt and trousers, but I was wearing a black Moroccan Bedouin cape with a hood, and it had 3 white stripes going all down the border, and I looked like a thespian, right? So we're just kind of mingling and talking with people, and waiting for the event to end. They had good munchies and wine, and there was Bentleys and Rolls Royces and chauffeurs, and a lot of movers and shakers were in there, right?
Right.
So just about before the event is over, the owner introduces me to her father, and it went like this. This very kind gentleman walked up to me, and he shook my hand, and he says, "Excuse me, are you an actor?" And I go, "No, man, I'm just wearing this outfit because it's cool and groovy, and I got the shop across the street, and that's about it."
Nice.
And hang on a second.
No
I
problem.
can't take this call right now. So I said no, and he did this thing, made a frame, and he goes, "There's something about your face." I go, "Yeah, tell me about it." And he says, No. He says, "Your face fits the description of a character in a movie I'm doing called Doc Savage, the coroner in Mexico, and Hidalgo has." And I go, "I read that book. I know all about those books." And so we kind of talked about the story, and he said, "Would you please be in my movie and work? It's one day we'll be at Harold Lloyd's estate, and we'll pretend it's South America, and
That's awesome.
I'll pay you $400." And I go, "Sure." I needed the money. I was going to take my truck and drive to Alaska and homestead. $400 would, that would help out. So he also said, "I'm going to make sure you have a Screen Actors Guild card membership. I'll pay your dues for the first year. And if anybody ever asks you your question, Scotty, I have agreed to always answer in the following, which is George Powell discovered me."
Nice.
And thank you, Georgie, because the rest is history, and he gave me a career. Gave me an opportunity to work my butt off and learn a lot. And I was very grateful to work with some of the best people in the industry and learn from them.
That's awesome.
I like learning.
And you were even great in The Hills Have Eyes, both 1 and 2. And speaking of those movies, how did you get your audition for the first one?
Well, it was a simple casting call, basically. Peter Locke and Wes Craven and Barry Kahn had seen me in Cuckoo's Nest, and they figured because I had the skull surgery as a child and the overall look and stubby fingers, whatever, they figured, hey, he could be a mutant and be part of the cannibal family. And so I got a call from my agent. I said, go meet these people and good luck.
Right.
The meeting went very well. I still talk to Peter to this day, and Susan Lanier Bramlett. We're in touch constantly, and Dee Wallace and Janice Blythe. We're all in touch with one another, and we have been over the last 30-something years. Been doing this for 40 years. So the meeting went very well. Wes was quiet and very educated. He told the story about the McBean family and what the screenplay was based upon, and then the counterpoint between the white bread family on vacation versus the cannibal family that we know how to survive in our zip code, and they happen to be well, they take a shortcut, and you should never take a shortcut in a scary movie.
Exactly. Dee Wallace, she's such a sweetheart. I interviewed her for my show, and it was funny because she was supposed to do she was scheduled for my show, and she got a call to be on set for something that she was filming last minute when she wasn't supposed to be there. And she's like, well, I have an interview scheduled within like the next hour. So she quickly rushed to set because that's her job. And while in hair and makeup, she made time to do the interview for me. And she did the interview, and she said, I can only give you 20 minutes. I'm sorry, but I can only give you 20 minutes because I'm in hair and makeup. She gave me 35.
Well, yeah, that's the kind of gal she is.
Yep, she was such a sweetheart, really is. So how did it come about on you? What was that?
I said, she can be outspoken on occasion. I have heard such.
Absolutely. So how did it come about on you being brought back for the sequel?
Well, it was a slam dunk. They had a little bigger budget. We were using different lighting. We were using HMIs at the time. That was state of the art. Right. Like I said, yeah, it actually had a budget. So if it's a part 2, they just wrote it in that the Reaper patched me up real good, and I survived the dog biting my throat. I mean, it's just creative license, but I got to be on the cover, the one sheet for the original.
Nice.
So that would work well in a subsequent in the remake, so familiarity. Go, oh, I saw the first one. Oh, there's that guy. What's he doing now? So it was kind of it had to be,
Right. So this next question is pretty much a two-parter. So what was the quote unquote movie magic behind the dog biting out your throat, and how did they do the scene where you end up falling off the cliff in the second one?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. The falling off the cliff was my stunt double.
Okay.
And he actually fell quite a distance, about 35 feet, maybe 40 feet, landed on a giant, airbag.
Right.
Went real well. It was a long shot, so you couldn't tell it wasn't me. And I got to work with Mo DeCesso and his dogs, the German Shepherd, the older German Shepherd, Beast. He was long in the tooth, as they say, a little gray in the muzzle. He was the bionic dog on the TV series. Now, I knew the people at Cougar Hill Ranch and also, well, the DeCessos. And when you work with animals, it's very advantageous to understand that they're going to direct the scenes, they're going to direct the action, they're going to say things you need to pay attention to, so everyone is safe and they get the shot in 1 or 2 takes. That helps production, makes your director happy,
Right.
makes everybody happy. So what I do is when I'm working with animals, I hang out all day long in my free time with them and the animals I'm working with. I don't interact with other people except my director or maybe wardrobe or makeup, somebody, that has a specific task to take care of. And the reason for that is to have the animal comfortable with you. Now, the neck attack, I had a dog collar on, and there was a tennis ball wrapped in leather sewn to the back of that collar that's on my neck. So the dog was, before we rolled camera, they dressed the blood. Well, they had a tube going up to pump the blood as we're tugging, and then it flows. It looks like I'm getting my throat ripped out. And the way to accommodate that is very simple. What you do is you grab the dog behind the jowls and the neck, and you just sort of hold on, and we practice doing this motion. And during the entire process, the dog was given the command to grab the lump, the tennis ball, and to hold and not release until he's given a command to release.
Awesome.
That protected me from getting bit while we're doing this little dance. So we practiced that a few times. We got it in 2 takes.
That's awesome. And it's really amazing with what you can do with animals in the acting business, especially, with them being, trained appropriately. But that's really amazing with what they can do with that. And it's really fascinating.
Yeah. Preheat the oven there to 400.
And so what was your most memorable moments about filming both the first and second Hills Have Eyes films?
Wow, well, there's quite a few moments. Okay, in the first one, it was really hot in the daytime, cold at night. It was very challenging. I don't do heat very well. It was very physical. We had no budget. During the attack in the trailer where Mars kicks me out and I get angry and I take the hatchet and chop out the trailer, we only had one trailer.
Okay.
So it was all handheld. So I'm on top of Brenda, and the camera operator actually is Mars, and he pulls me away. We practiced that, and it's a camera. It's got a metal lens cover, etc. So the bottom line is you have to keep your distance between the camera and your head so you don't hit each other. That ruins the shot. And also you got to know where you are in the frame. It's real important to look through a viewfinder if you're an actor. And if you're doing a tight shot, you need to know what they require. And if you have a visual, that helps a lot. There's the art part, there's the performance part, and then there's the technical part. You got to know all three. So in that scene, you can see me actually look. Well, we did it by the numbers, the different things I smashed, the hanging planter, the partition. When I smashed that, I actually had a big sliver went right through my palm. But you're in the moment. Then I go over to the table and smash that up, and then I'm mad and I walk away. Earlier in the scene, when I come in and I'm stealing stuff, I always make sure I got the ammunition, the weapons, and I take the meat and the milk. And I purposely made reference visually to the door, which had a red and a green apple, meaning I don't want apples. We eat meat. We're cannibals. Get it? Okay. So it's a little wink, wink. Wes liked that idea.
Nice.
That was kind of a cool memory. Let's see. A memory aside on the first one, we were doing a promotion around the country at various theaters. And we went to a drive-in, and they had me dress up like Pluto, and Peter and Wes thought it would be funny if I banged on some car doors and windows during the attack. And so like a dummy, I said, yeah, sure. I did that. And then this girl screamed, and her 7-foot tall, 300-pound boyfriend with a baseball bat was not happy. And he says, I want to smash your skull in. You scared my girlfriend, you blankety blank. And so I'm going, this is not what I expected. So I'm running, trying to find the van. This idiot is, going to kill me with a baseball bat. And pretty soon I see headlights and the van pull up and Wes Craven's hanging on the back seat and reaches his arm out and he goes, grab my hand. And I did. And we drove away, went to a diner, and everybody's real quiet. We kind of looked at each other and figured, maybe we had a scary movie and maybe it's a hit. Part two, the Reaper character was kind of weak. Loved working with John, but he kind of played it too over the top. He didn't take it too seriously to a certain degree. The dog flashbacks were cool. It was nice to have some of the original cast members still available.
Nice.
We had different cameras. We had red. I think we had red cameras and HMI lighting. So it was a lot different. It had a different look, different feel. But as far as memories, I think number one stands out far and above part two. Like part two, my favorite thing about it is the dog flashback. It'd be quite awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it looks so realistic. It looks really good on camera with the dog just ripping your throat out. Even like I'm just talking about the first one itself. That was just brilliantly done. And I mean, Wes Craven, he's a genius. He really is as a director. I mean, with The Hills Have Eyes and A Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, of course. And of course, speaking of Wes Craven, God rest his soul. What was he like as a director?
Well, as a director, he was the same way as the man himself. He was calm and quiet and never yelled or screamed. He knew what he wanted. He would tell you specifically what he wanted. I think the only time we ever had a difference was when in part one, where I have the binoculars and I'm giving the report back to our camp. He wanted me to do something threatening, like take my knife and go scrape on a boulder and then exit the scene like, okay, now we're going to go get him. And I said it would be, no, I said that would dull the knife. Pluto's knife would be deadly sharp at all moments. And now if I ran it across my hand and it bled or something like that, and he licked it or something like that, that would be sinister and creepy. And we weren't budgeted for that effect. So
Right.
he said, can you do it? I says, no. He said, oh, never mind. Well, just do the report and exit. Aside from that, I've worked with him on the 5th Floor, a little movie in LA, and we did another project too. So, but he did his homework. He was a smart guy, delightful to be around, good sense of humor, good guy.
That's really cool. So the last question I got for you is, do you have any other projects that you would like to promote to the viewing and listening audience, as well as any websites and social media accounts?
As far as projects, COVID's kind of put everything on hold. I will be at the Blood and Ink in Nashville convention, Ben Dixon's show, and Ben and his wife. It's a wonderful show. You can get a nice tattoo. I've got a few tattoos myself that I got there. Anyway, that's at the end of the first of the month of next month. As far as promote, I have the website, michaelberryman.com. You can get pictures signed from there. There's a cool hoodie. There's a couple other items. We'll be adding more down the line. I've been posting on my Facebook page to remind people that over 40 years I've been, doing the mail signing, the autographs. But I love you guys. I appreciate you, but the volume is so much, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that there will be no more signing by mail. I wish I could. I'm 72 years old. I got things to do. And one of those things is to share with you my memoirs, my autobiography about me. It's got a picture of me as a little kid before the skull surgery. I had hair. It's called It's All Good. Just about done with the final rewrite, and it'll be off to my manager and to the publisher in a couple months. My Facebook page and my website will keep you posted on when it's available. That's the main thing. Aside from that, just staying healthy, take me vitamins, work out, just and try to have a good laugh once in a while. Be kind to one another. Try to understand people that confuse you or frustrate you, and just kind of let things go if you can. If you can't, then walk away. That's always a good option too.
Absolutely. And you have
Don't pity the fool. I pity the fool. Actually, that's what she wants. What a wonderful guy. I pity the fool.
I'm
Super nice guy. I mean, really nice guy.
You have an IMDb page, right? So any projects after COVID and after this interview, if you're in anything, will be updated?
I don't have anything to do with the IMDb page. My manager will get a hold of them and pull things out. So a lot of times people get a LOI, letter of intent, and then they'll put it on IMDb thing, and it makes it appear that they're up and running and have all their casts and financing. But if they're not greenlit, then it's premature to do that. So it's correct most of the time. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, and it does make it easy with adding things to IMDb. Like, even if you're not involved with the project, it really there should be a more I don't know, like a harder way, or like a way that they could check if that actor or actress is in it without having the manager or the agent just going right in and having to check for themselves.
Yeah, like I say, I just say call Judy. People have questions. Hey, you want to be doing this? You want to do that? And I just say call Judy.
Right. She's a wonderful lady. That's how I was able to get in touch with you, is right through her, and she's a sweetheart. So
that's how it works, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thank you, Michael, so much for joining me for this interview.
You're very welcome. Great questions. I hope your podcast, is it?
It's a podcast. It'll be on YouTube, the video version, and then it'll be on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all those other sites. Yep.
Awesome. Yep. All right. Well, to everybody, take care of one another. Be safe. Avoid stupid people if you can, and peace out.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
All right. Take care. Thank you.